Is there a recession coming in 2022? And the more important thing is, what are you and I gonna do about it? In this video, I've been doing a lot of reading and research and putting a lot of wisdom in this little lizard brain. And I wanna talk to you about some big brain, dinosaur brain concepts here, because you and I really need to understand what is happening out in the market. Because I think, in my opinion, right, this is not financial advice, but I think there's something bad coming for us. I think there's a recession that's coming that is unlike anything we've ever seen before. But let me know in the comments what you think. Like, I'm not trying to be a bear. I'm trying to be calculated. Cowboys just don't rush into John Wayne is always preparing what he's going to do. And so I want to introduce you to something. It's called the US debt clock. And what this basically is, it just shows a whole bunch of figures on where the United States stands. And you might not be in the United States. Matter of fact, most of you guys watching my videos are not. So what's going on, guys? But I'm going to explain to you how the United States inflation is seeping into all of your countries and how it's making us all bankrupt, making us all poor. Now, I want you guys to see, look at this. U.S. national debt is at nearly $30 trillion, okay? $30 trillion. And the gross domestic product, that is the total of all goods and services produced by the United States. The value of it is $23 trillion, okay? That means we do not have the ability to pay off the U.S. national debt, okay? If every year that we can't pay it off, there's compounding interest that applies to that. So the debt is only going to get bigger and bigger. Now, another important figure to show here is that we only get $4 trillion in tax revenue, okay? $4 trillion in tax revenue, meaning we can't pay, like, we have $4 trillion. We're trying to pay off near $30 trillion. That's like saying you're trying to pay off a $3 million mortgage with a $4,000 income. It's like it's like crazy. It's well, maybe $40,000. It doesn't matter. Like, it's an insane amount of debt. Okay, this is facts. No one can argue this. This is just fact. Okay. Now here comes the philosophy. I've been doing some research, right? Here's my research and into what inflation is doing. There are two options here. The first option is to intervene, for the U.S. government to intervene. And how do they intervene? They could do a lot of stuff. They could cut the rates, or what they've been doing is they've been pumping the market full of money, artificial money, fiat, no backing. They just say, do, 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 do. Jerome Powell cranked the money printer and money comes into the system. Where does that money go? Well, that money is divvied up between them. In the United States, last year, I got $300 per child. And then like stimulus checks of about 3 checks of about $1,500. So probably, I don't know how much that is, probably about $6,000 or so. And I would assume that's on average for every family. Let's say about $7,000, $8,000 per family household is getting pumped into the system in the United States. Well, that's not nearly all. As a matter of fact, that's just a tiny sliver. Most of that stuff is coming into businesses, is going to government spending, is going into like a whole bunch of government spending. Like, I mean, you could do the research on, just all the stimulus bills that's been coming past. I'm not going to try to recap them, but a lot of it's just massive amounts of government spending, government programs, grants, all that kind of stuff. Okay, what happens here? What is happening when the United States pumps inflation? Well, I'll let you know. When money supply comes into people, the people who get it first benefit the most. Why? Because when they go buy, the prices are still priced as if they didn't have that money. The market doesn't know that they got that money, right? So everyone just got this like big chunk of money. All these investors, all these big corporations, all the government spending on whatever, they all got the money first. Okay, even some U.S. households got a little bit of money first. The market did not price out to exactly how much money is being dished out. So if I knew that you got an extra $8,000 and I'm selling food to you, I'm gonna be like, oh, okay, you got more money. I'm gonna raise my prices. You have the ability to spend more. Great. So that's when the money comes out of the Fed and into people's hands. The first people that get it, the first hands that those land in, they have the most purchasing power because the market didn't price to it. Now, when they spend that money, after time has been passed and like the market continues to readjust, and we're seeing this in people raising their prices, raising their rates. I mean, this is what inflation is, right? People raising their rates and your ability to buy less and less. What this hurts is people who are the most poorest in the United States. People who can't increase their income, can't work more, can't do it. They're just based on social, the money coming from the regular checks, Social Security, money coming from checks from the United States. Now, this is where you come in if you're from another country. What happens is that the United States in itself is getting the first, stimmy checks, but then that money gets exported out to different countries. What happens? You have Turkey, inflation, hyperinflation. My boys and my family in Turkey, you guys are struggling so bad right now. Lebanon, these people in Lebanon, the Middle East, there's UK, you name it. It doesn't matter. Everywhere around the world, all your prices you're inflating your prices faster than what the inflation rate here in the United States is. Why? Because the money is hitting the United States first, and the market, which is the other countries, is not priced for that yet. That's what I think is happening. I think right now in 2022, there's an adjustment, and there are only two options. One, you keep the bubble going. They keep cranking that money printer, and you keep that bubble growing. Now, that's never been done before. The bubble always pops. It always comes down. This is just so happens to be the biggest bubble ever in United States history. The debt is incredibly large. The ability to pay that is infantilely small, just so tiny. Can't pay it off. Now, what happens to the other countries? I hear about these reports, just like the inflation, the price. It's just hard enough to buy bread in Lebanon right now. I was just talking to some people in Lebanon. So, what can we do about this? This is the situation. Oh, that's the first option. You just keep the bubble going. The second option, you pump the brakes. You hit recession. Did you know that even if the United States went back to pre-COVID, lockdown rates and prices and all that stuff, that we would be in a recession? If we went back, that's how fast we exponentially grew during the last year and a half, 2 years or so. So that if we go back to pre-pandemic times, we're in a recession because we'd have to come back. And so that's the only two. There's only two options: grow the bubble or pop the bubble. Now, a couple other questions. Follow-up question: how much pain is there before we reverse the trend? Right? There's going to be a lot of pain. There's going to be reverse the trend. So, in my opinion, yes, there's going to be a recession. Is it in 2022? Most likely, I would bet on it. I am betting on it. I'm not one of these YouTubers who are like drawing the freaking lines and saying, this. I called the bottom. I called the bounce. Look, no one called anything. No, of people who are making calls of that they get one right, they got like 7 others wrong. No one can call anything. But I'm looking at the market, and I'm looking at what's coming, and I want to know: do you agree with me? Is a recession coming in 2022? I would say yes in 2022, if not 2023. I don't know how long this could go for. It scares me. It worries me, honestly, because I hear stories from other countries talking about how difficult it is to get bread, to buy food, to buy necessities, and I'm extremely worried. So yeah, there's a lot of fear. There's a lot of fear, uncertainty, doubt. Ooh, I'm getting to. No, I'm not trying to get it to you. I'm trying to educate you as I'm educating myself. I recommend you read The Financial Matrix by Orrin Woodward. Great book. I'm reading that right now, and that's what's really like getting my brain. So if you want to read along with me, most of my posts and tweets and stuff are just like quotes from the book, and so it's just something that I'm educating myself with. But I want to know what you're doing. Here's my other thought: is when a recession happens, where are people running to? When a recession happens, where are people running to? In my opinion, I think people see crypto still as speculative and volatile. So I don't think they're running into Bitcoin. I think they would be running out of Bitcoin. The smart ones will run into Bitcoin because for a longer term play, I think that's right. Will they run into cash? I'm not sure because they're inflating the cash supply. Will they run into gold? Probably, right? I would assume so. I would assume that you would have to sit on a set amount of liquidity, which is just cash, just dollars, or stable coins, whatever you want. Blah. Or you sit on actual tangible gold. And this is what I'm trying to think of, what is the market? Because really crypto is all you're just trading opinions. You're just trying to speculate what other people think is going to happen. I would say that's true for every other crypto except for Bitcoin. Bitcoin is actually has like mathematics behind it. Has a like it takes a certain amount of energy to produce the Bitcoin, like the 1% or whatever it is to produce a year for Bitcoin. It takes that much hash rate, that much processing power. There's actually that much money in that monetary network of Bitcoin, that monetary energy that Michael Saylor talks about. So here's my thoughts. It's kind of like wild and kind of rambling, but I want to know what you think against my thoughts. Very worrisome, but I'm trying to be calculated. I'm not trying to do things out of emotion. Right now, you guys know I sold my Bitcoin 37,000. It went down to, I mean, I saw Bitcoin BTC go down to 36,000, 35,000, go up to 38, 39,000. I'm unfazed. I'm just watching it go. I don't know when I'm going to make my move yet. I already told my move in the video that I said I sold my Bitcoin. But this is something that I'm very interested in. Do you think we're going to recession? And what do you think we're going to do about it? For me, I ran into cash. I'm going to buy Bitcoin because I think it's the future. I think we can't lose with Bitcoin. Every move that I make, everything that I read, I'm like trying to see, okay, the answer is ultimately Bitcoin over a 10-year cycle. So I'm just making these moves to try to get more Bitcoin. I'm trying to make businesses. I'm trying to make more money. I'm doing side hustles. I'm trying to work more to get more capital, to get more liquidity, to buy when this thing hits, because it's going to hit. Just, it's a certainty. Anyway, what do you guys think? Let me know. Lizard Brains, Gorilla Arms, Diamond Hands. I'll see you guys later.